We're going to make a really crisp little salad here, and I'm going to start by putting 2 eggs into the water here on a soft boil. So pop them straight in and make sure that's covered. We want to bring that up to the boil and reduce it right down to a gentle simmer once it comes to the boil for 3 minutes. We got the right one? That's a good start. And then I'm going to start with this celery here. And I've got a whole big bunch of celery here. And what I always do with these bunches is take these outer leaves off, and I use those for stock. Obviously not with the leaves, because they go really bitter when you cook them out. So just kind of make your way through the celery here until we get right down to the heart. And you'll notice that the leaves in here and the sticks are really nice and pale. And they've got a much kind of sweeter taste to them. And the leaves in here are really usable. So that's kind of what I'm after. So what we'll do here, I'll just take that end bit off and just pick these leaves off. And these so often get sort of thrown away, but they're really good. Put through salads, over the top of risottos and stuff like that. Anything that's really crisp and vibrant goes really, really well with these leaves. If you're not going to use them straight away, kind of put them into a little bowl with a few cubes of ice and a little bit of water, and that'll keep them really crisp and fresh. Right, so we can start putting this together. So I've got my salad mixing bowl there. The leaves I'll put to the side because I kind of treat those like herbs, and we'll put those in at the very end. If you put them through at the beginning with the dressing and everything like that, they're going to get a little bit waterlogged. So with this celery here, I'm just going to start slicing through it. You can kind of cut this however you want, really. I'm doing it on the diagonal. And we can start by popping that straight into the mixing bowl. And another really cool thing I'm going to do for this is actually quick cure 1 lemon. So to do that, just slice it as thinly as you can. You know, about a mill's okay, it doesn't have to be paper thin. And I'll just take 2 to 3 slices. And then we can put that to the side and take yourself a little plate and just kind of spread those out on the plate. And sprinkle just a small pinch of salt. And that salt's going to draw much of the moisture out of the lemon there and kind of change the dynamic of it a little bit. After that's been sitting for a couple of minutes, I'll rinse it in cold water, and then we're going to finally chop that. Now, moving right along, what else should I do here? Some radish. Probably 2 or 3 of these would be good. I might chop it in half and kind of pop them in. Maybe this one will go around. So what I'm doing here is, while that egg's cooking there, pretty much getting everything queued up, ready to go. Because this salad, once all that's done, is just a matter of pretty much pulling everything together. The dressing we're going to make is super simple. And this, my friends, is called mise en place, meaning everything in its place. Once you've rinsed that out with cold water, you can just give it a good squeeze, remove as much of the moisture without squeezing the lemon juice out. And then I'm going to chop through that. By really quickly salting that, it's actually softened the lemon there, so the kind of zest and everything in there is really edible now. So I'm going to pop that straight into the bowl. And I can hear that water's come up to the boil, so I'm going to reduce that right down to a really gentle simmer for 3 minutes. Here we've got the egg right here under my finger. And as I said before, I brought that up to the boil, reduced it right down to a really gentle simmer for 3 minutes, took it off, cooled it in cold water, and as you can see, I've taken the shell off. And I can feel that's beautiful and soft, and hopefully that egg yolk inside's super runny. I'm not going to use that right now, I was just telling you guys about it. But what we are going to do right now is take 2 or 3 anchovies. And this is extremely optional. I know about 70% of the population hate these guys, but I love using these almost in place of salt. So I won't add salt later in this dish. The anchovy does that for us. And I'll just run through that with a knife. Just scatter the anchovies over the salad there. So now we can add capers in. And then we can tear these celery leaves in. And just sort of double check when you're doing this that you do get these really pale ones. The really dark green ones aren't good for using in any kind of cooking, salad, stocks, whatever. Just tear those in. And we'll go some mint. Just tear that a little bit. Chili goes in if you're using it. A little bit of cracked pepper. And I got some pea tendrils here. These aren't super available, so I'm just going to put a couple of those through. You could also change it out for pea cress if you wanted to. And now, it's got a little bit of extra virgin olive oil. Not too much, I don't like overdressing salads, just a little bit. We also have the luxury here of having this egg yolk. So that's almost going to be a little bit like dressing as well. It's going to give a really awesome richness to this dish. Little tiny bit of vinegar, but not too much because we already have loads of acidity from that lemon, which we cured through there. So to mix this, I'm going to use my hands. You can kind of use those really clumsy, awkward, what do you call them, salad spoon things, but for me, they crush the hell out of salads. And I was always taught, especially when I was working at the River Cafe in London, to kind of go in right underneath and then toss over the top with real kind of kiddie gloves on. Once you've got all that mixed together, kind of get your hands right under the salad there and lift from underneath and straight onto the plate.
Strange Italian song.